You ever feel like no matter what you do, people just don't respect you? Like you're constantly overlooked, underestimated, dismissed? You walk into a room and it's like you're invisible. You share your ideas and people talk right over you. You set a boundary and they cross it like it wasn't even there. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. It's not them. It's you. And I know that stings, but stay with me, because understanding this is the first step to everything changing. There's something you're doing right now, probably without even realizing it, that's broadcasting to the world, I don't respect myself, so you don't have to either. And people pick up on that signal like sharks smell blood in water. They can't help themselves. It's human nature. Let me tell you about Marcus. Guy I knew from college. Smart, talented, genuinely good person. But Marcus had this problem. Everywhere he went, people treated him like he didn't matter. His opinions got shut down in meetings. Friends would cancel plans with him last minute and barely apologize. His own family would interrupt him mid-sentence like what he was saying wasn't important enough to finish. And Marcus couldn't figure it out. He'd ask me, "Why does this keep happening? What am I doing wrong?" He was doing everything wrong, actually, but not in the way he thought. See, Marcus was an open book, and I mean that literally. You could ask him anything: his salary, his relationship problems, his fears, his dreams, what he ate for breakfast, and he'd tell you everything in excruciating detail. He thought he was being authentic, vulnerable, real. But here's what he didn't understand. Mystery creates respect. When people know everything about you, when they can predict your every move, when there are no pages left unread in your book, they stop wondering about you. And when they stop wondering, they stop respecting. Think about the people you respect most in your life. I guarantee there's something about them you don't fully understand. Some part of their life, their mind, their past that remains just out of reach. That unknown element makes them larger in your imagination, more capable, more interesting, more worthy of your attention and respect. Marcus didn't have that. He was completely figured out, predictable, controllable. But that wasn't even his biggest problem. Marcus talked, a lot, like an exhausting amount. You'd ask him a simple question and 15 minutes later, he'd still be circling around an answer, thinking out loud, contradicting himself, repeating the same points in different words. Every conversation with him was like watching someone write a first draft in real time. Messy, unfocused, searching. And people noticed. They'd glaze over mid-conversation, start checking their phones, find excuses to leave. Because when you speak without intention, without filtering your thoughts first, you're essentially asking people to do the thinking for you. You're making them work to extract meaning from the noise. Powerful people don't do that. They think first, speak second. They use silence as a tool, not something to be feared and filled with rambling. They choose their words carefully because they understand that fewer words carry more weight. I remember sitting in a coffee shop with Marcus one afternoon when he started going off about some coworker. 20 minutes of pure gossip. What she said, who she was dating, what she wore to the office party, why she was probably getting fired. And I watched something happen. The barista who had been friendly earlier started ignoring our table. The couple next to us moved seats. Even I felt myself losing respect for him in real time. Because here's the thing about gossip. It reveals where your mind lives. And if your mind lives in other people's business, judging their choices, analyzing their failures, picking apart their lives, what does that say about you? It says you have nothing better to think about, no bigger problems to solve, no worthier pursuits to occupy your mental energy. High-level people talk about ideas. Average people talk about events. Low-level people talk about other people. Marcus was broadcasting exactly which category he belonged to. And then there was the negativity. Every idea someone presented, Marcus could tell you exactly why it wouldn't work. Every opportunity that came up, he'd list the risks. Every dream someone shared, he'd inject out. He thought he was being realistic, protective, smart. But negativity without solutions is just poison. Sure, awareness of risks is valuable, but only when coupled with action, with pathways forward, with measured optimism about what's possible. Marcus only offered the first part. He could see everything that would go wrong, but never what could go right or how to navigate the challenges. People don't respect pessimism dressed up as wisdom. They respect people who can see the obstacles and still chart a course through them. But you want to know what really killed Marcus's respect among everyone who knew him? What made even his closest friends start to pull away? He never followed through. Ever. "I'll be there at 7. Shows up at 7:30, if at all. "I'll help you move this weekend." Cancels the morning of. "I'll finish that report by Friday." Still working on it the following Tuesday. "I'll call you back." Never does. Every broken promise, every missed commitment, every half-finished project was a message. A message that said, "My word means nothing. You can't count on me. I don't even keep promises to myself." And if you can't trust someone to do what they say they'll do, how can you respect them? Trust and respect are inseparable. They're two sides of the same coin. I watched this pattern destroy Marcus's career, his relationships, his self-image. Because here's what most people don't realize. When you break your word to others, you're really breaking it with yourself. You're losing the internal battle. You're teaching yourself that your commitments are negotiable, that your intentions don't require follow-through, that your word is cheap. And once you lose respect for yourself, everyone else just follows your lead. The final piece that kept Marcus trapped in this cycle was his complete lack of boundaries. He was everyone's yes man. Need a favor? Marcus will do it. Want to cancel plans last minute? Marcus won't mind. Want to borrow money you'll never pay back? Marcus is an ATM. Want to talk for 3 hours about your problems, but never ask about his? Marcus is all ears. He thought he was being nice, accommodating, a good friend. But people don't respect doormats. They wipe their feet on them. Here's a hard truth. People test boundaries. It's not malicious, it's instinct. They push to see where the line is, where you'll finally say no, where you'll stand up for yourself. And when you never do, when every boundary is negotiable, when you say yes to everything regardless of the cost to your time, energy, or self-respect, they conclude that you don't value yourself. So why should they value you? I lost touch with Marcus a few years ago. Last I heard, he was still wondering why life kept dealing him a bad hand, why people kept taking advantage of him, why he couldn't catch a break. But it was never about luck. It was never about other people being cruel or the world being unfair. It was about 7 habits that broadcast disrespect like a radio signal. Being too open, talking too much, gossiping, drowning in negativity, pursuing nothing, never following through, having no boundaries. Each one alone is manageable, but together, they create a pattern, a reputation, an identity. The person who reveals everything holds no mystery and therefore no power. The person who rambles loses the weight of their words. The person who gossips reveals the emptiness of their mind. The person who only sees what can go wrong paralyzes everyone around them. The person pursuing nothing appears to stand for nothing. The person who never follows through can't be trusted, and the person with no boundaries can't be respected. But here's what gives me hope, what I wish I could go back and tell Marcus all those years ago. All of this is fixable. Every single habit can be unlearned, replaced, transformed. You can become someone who holds their cards close and lets others wonder about your depths. You can learn to think before you speak and make every word count. You can redirect conversations away from gossip toward ideas that matter. You can see risks clearly while still charting a path forward. You can find something worth pursuing and commit to it fully. You can make your words sacred and follow through on every commitment. You can set boundaries that honor your time and energy. But it starts with a decision. The decision to stop blaming everyone else for how they treat you and start examining the signal you're sending out. Because respect isn't something you demand. It's not something you're entitled to. It's something you earn through how you show up in the world, how you treat yourself, how seriously you take your own word. The way people treat you changes the moment you change the message you're broadcasting. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Your word is your bond. Your boundaries are your fortress. Your mystery is your power. Your silence is your strength. Respect yourself first. Everyone else will follow.